Okay, let's make another video. So, I do believe as technology advances, especially right now, we are in a time in which the chips are extremely powerful. One Nvidia chip, the most powerful today, technically represents the whole traffic of internet in one chip. This is a chip that is about this big, like the torso, my torso, something that big. Then in 1 year, we're gonna have another chip that follows the law more, the Moore's law, in which the traffic through that chip gonna be at least the double of it. Now, AI is also self improving itself. Again, every time I cannot speak in this way, like I stop because I'm trying to find the word. It's because the word has taken it away, but this technology. Now, the chip's gonna become extremely powerful. So, why this technology cannot be hidden? One, the usage of this technology among the intelligence community. So, what about we do another kind of paint drawing. Again, it's very annoying that the AI doesn't allow me to speak as I would like. If someone takes away your words, it's taking away who you are. It's a crime. It's a crime against humanity. What they are doing is a crime against humanity. Whoever is doing that. Now, we have the users, but the intelligence community. We have the usage by, or let's say the knowledge by developers, engineers, neuroscientists, etc. Then the knowledge of the companies and corporations. These are the employees. Then we have the military. Then we have the government. And remember, I'm in Australia, so most of the people that has been targeted most likely had been targeted in United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and UK. So we talk about the 5 eyes, yeah? Having this kind of most advanced technology. We have to remember that, okay, Nikola Tesla developed developed whatever theories he developed in United States. So United States benefit a lot from it, and as well during the Second World War, UK took great advantage over other countries like Italy and United States developing wireless technology. So then we have that in UK they specialize in as well computer science, radar technology, imagery technology, and they start to apply in the petrol industry, and they start to apply in the health sciences, etc., etc., etc. And that's mixed as well with atomic energy, etc., etc. Okay, because these machines that will be the MRI, they work as well with holding excited atoms and then releasing positrons that once they positrons eliminate a proton, releasing an electron, and the electron is read by the machine. And this is done because the positron is created through the recycling of or re-excitement of nuclear material. I can't remember I think it's, well, I can't remember the AI doesn't allow me to bring the exact number of the element. Okay, but okay, it doesn't matter. Now we are talking about the scientific body. Okay, we have also the knowledge of the victims, but most of us, we are being killed slowly. I met a lot of people in the hospital, outside the hospital. Look, these technologies, when people say that they have been gun stuck, they are being even gun stuck by kids, okay? Because the kids will say words that will trigger you depending on what you think. Let's say if I'm thinking about going to the mall, then some kid will say something like, buy some shoes, or something like that, and then I will build that. Like, okay, but it's just to say that this is applied in kids, even babies, all people, young people, is everyone. So it's a kind of slavery as well. And people might say, let's say, will not know or not be conscious that the words are being put in their mouths. So then, for you that are the victim, wherever you go, then it's like going in a bubble in which people will say things that trigger you. But the people doesn't know what they are saying. People doesn't even know that you are a target person. The only people who knows that you are a target person is people who is related with the intelligence services, or they somehow, let's say, if they somehow know that they are collaborating with someone. Why? Because this technology also might work in the way in which recruitment is not necessarily done through an intelligence agency, as the person doesn't even know who they are working for. Let's say you could think that you are helping God. That is the word of God that you hear. And then it's God who puts words in your mouth. And then you will truthfully believe this. And let's say it's Jehovah, and then somehow you have the communication with Jehovah, and then it's Jehovah who guides you, and then you start to talk on the phone or by yourself, and it's Jehovah who put words in your mouth, and you know this, and you keep it secret. And then when people talk about hey, are you religious? Yes, I know, because I'm sure that my connection with God is one that you will not comprehend, because I have experienced it and I know. Yeah, and they are completely sure, of course, because yeah, it's like as Elon Musk says, every single kind of technology that is not understandable or difficult to comprehend is seen as magic. Yeah. So it's simply magic is any kind of advanced technology. So then we have that there is people who, let's say, it could be related with faith. So in this last book of Henry Kissinger published a book post-mortem with the CEO of Google. I can't remember Smith or something like that. Yeah, right. In their book, what is the name of the book? The Age of AI, yeah. Eric Smith, yeah. Daniel Huntenlocker, yeah. This book, okay. Genesis. No, we are talking about Genesis, sorry. We are talking about Genesis, this book, okay? So they say that AI will be the now the AI is giving me pain, okay? So it's attacking my torso just because I'm saying this. As I say this, I'm attacked. Okay, and this is my daily life. Just because I'm saying the truth. Just because I follow every single fucking rule in society in a democracy. Yeah. And this is what happens. Democracy is dying. Those who are trying to fix wars, those who are trying to follow democracy, those who try to fix the reconciliation of democracy as technology advances, are being hurt. And yeah, so right now I'm experiencing pain, okay? So the pain goes all over this place. Now, then they speak in the book that AI might be the reconciliation between technology and God. Governance, technology, and God. So why? Because now it's possible that everyone will listen to the word of God and they don't know how this technology works. But that's impossible. That's impossible. And I will tell you why. So then we have that, yeah, so the reason for which this technology will eventually just continue being applied on victims, and the reason for which it's not gonna stop is because there is no reason whatsoever that it's gonna stop. So victims initially will be like kind of experiments. The kind of abuses will always happen because this kind of technology is extremely addictive to power. This is the most extremely addictive technology to power. Okay? By definition, it has not accountability for the nature of its attacks. Okay? Because the attacks cannot be recorded, then this is a slow motion genocide on this side of people. The AI tells me that I'm a cigarette, perhaps. Sometimes it tells me that I'm the god Mars, Zeus, Pluto, No, yeah, I used to say Bluetooth, etc., etc. Okay, but this is the kind of fetish that there will be related with not knowing truly the anything about Greek philosophy and having anxiousness, semiotic anxiousness, or the anxiousness of understanding and recognizing and utilizing the symbols of the Greek mythology, but that's another conversation. So then we have so I don't know how to write this. Whistleblowers. Okay. Then we have, let's say, the voice to voice, and then we have. Okay, let's leave it like that for now. So we have a kind of. Okay. This includes politicians and functionaries. So we will have a considerable amount of people that will know about this technology. Yeah. Then this is what happened. This is an old kind of technology. Then we have to remember that time passes. Time passes. And the bulk of people who knows Neuroweapons and its nature of hacking the whole nervous system only increases. So then now they are giving me headache. Okay, very annoying and pain in the torso. So the amount of people that eventually will know true time only increases. It is possible that in the future you will have only maybe a team of 10 people who will know because they will control most of the machines. Everyone else does not know. And then you will have the team controlling millions of people. But this is why it's never gonna happen. Because you have more than one civilization utilizing that. Then there will be teams. Let's say this is the team that controls this technology in one civilization. Let's put nothing to do with communism. This is just red. There is another team that will know too, and it controls that. And there is another team here. Yeah. And let's paint another team. So differentiate these colors. There is another team. And this is the situation. This team gonna control a lot of other people underneath. Yeah. And because this team is controlling that amount of people, this system will become extremely rigid. Okay? Will become extremely rigid. And it's gonna happen to every single fucking system. That was the same thing I was about to say, bloody. But you will understand in time. Then the other system's gonna also become rigid. And that's why also is something called like Technofeudalism. And as this system becomes more rigid, they're gonna fight between them. Yeah, so that's why it's not gonna last long. One way in which that could benefit, especially those systems that are smaller. A way in which this technology can benefit system. I mean, this first, no system gonna benefit to keep this as a secret, because then you're gonna have secret attacks happening, as is happening to me. Then let's say this guy, the black one, who is a little bit bigger than the others, attack the other systems. I'm just adopted in this sense. Yeah, I'm being attacked as I speak. Okay, keep that in mind. It's painful, and it's it's humiliating. Makes you feel afraid as well. But I know that I never did anything wrong, and I know that I always procure to keep myself away from trouble, away from responsibilities, because I wanted to live. So, and living, daring to live, becomes the most brave act that you could do. It is technically easy to be brave, to dare to die, but not many people dare to live. And in this system, systems that in which fascism has already taken somehow over, not everyone, yeah, then you will have that whoever see people like me that is trying to live, that is trying to create culture, to think of outside the box, to make his own skills develop as a kind of exploration of the human condition, then is taken as whether a stupid person, whether someone that is meek. Well, but this is the situation. If we find that these structures are already in place, just go away. There is nothing that will stop this. I think we still have in time, but once these structures are full-fledged, it's time to leave. Yeah, it has happened before. But we are in different times, so remember, we just need to bring more people towards enlightenment, and we need to know that yeah, let's say there are attacks, okay, but yeah, people needs to be brave and take every single time there is a step forward, it has to be bigger than the step backwards to keep moving towards the right goal. Okay, now let's say, yeah, all these systems gonna have kind of attacks from other systems, and then these attacks, when they will stop, That's the question. It comes from the top always, these attacks. When they gonna stop? Let's say I was attacked, but I was not attacked by. I was attacked by the same system. This is an attack that the West is doing to me. I know that not everyone agrees, but what happened to me was an attack done by the West to one of its sons. Someone who followed the institution, someone who followed the rule of law, someone who followed and honored the covenant, someone who honored democratic values and West, the Western academic thinking, etc., etc. Okay, so, but I was attacked. So it tells you already in the time in which we are, or the time in which we need to act, or the seriousness of the situation, or we need to, I mean, it's time to make good decision making, but also to be aware where we are. Yeah. So these attacks become rigid. Yeah. And there is one way to blur this, is because in one of these systems, in a single one system, then it becomes neuroweapons become common knowledge. Then you will have the whole of the population knowing what's going on. And then they will become ready for, okay, this is kinetic war. Yeah. But because this is so addictive to power, then especially autocracies will not want this technology to be overt. And also the democracies that are becoming autocracies. So then is fear, enlightenment, fear to truth, what is lacking at the moment. And this is not a problem of the bottom of society. Okay? This is a problem. This is a problem at the top of every single hierarchy. People who live here, they don't know what's going on. So we have groups that are becoming smaller and rigid. Most of these groups at the moment is old people. It doesn't mean that you are, because you are old, is something bad. The problem is the people whose age and experience creates a bias for which they cannot foresee the future with AI. So then they want to keep the old order with the new technology. And that's impossible. It had happened in history once and over again. It's like it's like, let's say you have telephones in the society. They don't want people to communicate, but they want everyone to use the telephone because it's easier to communicate. So they have this dichotomy in which they are not able to reconcile a new reality, because Their mind is in another place, and it's so powerful, their decision making, that everyone starts to live in that way. That's what happened to me. Someone thought that I will be violent. Maybe because that person was violent. Maybe because that person thought that if I do this to him, he gonna become violent. Because I know that if someone were doing that to me, then I become violent. Or I know that everyone reacts in that way. Yeah, and I know that this guy is someone who works in a low skill job. At the same time, I'm listening to the top academics podcast in the world, and that's not taken because if I don't listen to the top academics of the world, I don't know what I'm missing. So I will see just a nerd. I will see just someone who I will see someone who is just listening to a podcast. I also listen to podcasts. Okay, the person will say, I listen to podcasts. Those podcasts are not different to mine. Yeah, I was listening to the Club of Rome. They were probably listening to Jordan Peterson. Okay, I read also Jordan Peterson, and I know how to criticize. So precisely because I watch more than one team. Now, if I, let's say, it's like if I don't understand biology, if I don't understand, yeah, let's say something like the beauty of plants, if I'm not a gardener, if I don't know genetics, if I don't know mathematics, the symmetry, if I don't know anything of this, I won't be able to recognize a beautiful garden. And then I will go to that garden and I won't feel shit when the garden gets destroyed. I will have to destroy it because I cannot recognize what is that. Yeah, I cannot read what is. It's just plants. I don't know if I'm killing the only plant left, the only species left in the world. I don't know if I'm killing the only plant around that could inseminate a whole, let's say, that could attract the insect that can inseminate the whole forest. You know, these situations is what I cannot recognize. Yeah, I cannot recognize that maybe, yeah, there is only one plant or a bunch of plants that are super important for the next year, for the next winter, for the future of this forest to survive. As there are plants who have certain roles in production in the jungle, in the forest, etc. So I cannot recognize that. I mean, just for me, everything is the same shit. So then I just chop whatever comes in front of me, including young people like me. Then they will say, "Oh, this guy is an immoral person because look at his porn record." Sex is one of the most beautiful pleasures, and it's the only pleasure in which you can have an exaggeration of it without hurting yourself. Okay, there is a point in which you might start to hurt yourself, but we are talking about extremes. That you can have as no other pleasure, as much sex as you want, and not hurting yourself or the others. Instead, you are loving, you are being happy, etc. Then this person might see himself, herself, and then judge. Then this person will say, I have a job in which I earn over 100K. This guy doesn't make 20K per year. I'm better, I'm more intelligent, I'm more successful. So I can squish him like a cockroach. Yeah. Even if he reads one book per week, in this society I worth more than him. Because I don't know what is to read one fucking book per week. In my mind, I was preparing for the future. In my mind, I was preparing for the university. In my mind, I was already trying to be a professional in the future. But in my mind as well, I was like, okay, I work a lot. When I was young, I could take a break. I also experiencing what is life, what can be done, what cannot be done, freedom. I live in a free democracy. I have the fortune to be and the allowance to develop my personality freely. But this is not what happened. Right now, I have this thought police attacking me every day. Yeah. Then what it tells you, and what it tells you where we are in history and where we are going. Okay. What it tells you, there is no. I mean, there is no space for which the youth can grow and be young here in Australia. They should be able to do all this stuff. They should be able to experience, to have a period in which they can experience what is to be young. After you start to take responsibilities. Yeah, but to 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 extinguish lives that are just starting, that's miserable, that's criminal, that's evil. And every time I do a video, I text about this, is so I can have freedom. Yeah, always. This is related to I want to have freedom. I don't have to state it, but to whom I ask freedom? This neuroweapon. Look, you must be extremely stupid to think that, okay, we had been attacking this guy for 2 years and he doesn't do anything violent, and now we're gonna continue doing it, and now we're gonna give him a label of schizophrenia, and now we are giving him a permanent label, and we are building all this bloody society that is built on a fake platform, which is the mind of the people. This is a fake platform. And now we are doing research on people from the bottom up. We are taking these people from the bottom and messing up with the rules that we create in the society. We are messing up with the rules, with the rule of law, with the institutionality, what is to be a criminal, what is desirable, what is not desirable. We are messing up with all this because we can, because we won't get caught, because we can go away with murder as this is super secret, because no one knows who is the ones who do this, because we have license to kill, license to make, license to put voices in other people, license to do whatever we want. Yeah. Who supervise this? These neuroweapons are not even acknowledged in Australia. I sent a report to the Australian Federal Police and they sent me the cat in and I ended up in the hospital a month. This is because all this base is already fake. And when you start to have this base that is not as strong because it's not built on truth, as there is more research that in which reality is built upon artificial knowledge. Let's say a lot of people will have, let's say they are attacking my joints too, okay? They are attacking my joints. Just recently they attacked this finger, my feet, and they are attacking my joints, this finger too. So slowly it feels that, or I don't know if it's a muscle or something, but it feels that they attack that, and then I have pain for a while. Between the cartilage, they attack the cartilage, they damage the the cartilage, and then between the bones, the cartilage becomes loose. And this is torture, and this is a crime against humanity. It's a slow motion genocide for a lot of people. Okay, they call it death by 1,000 cats. Yeah, it's like the ants with the elephant. It's a little attack every single time, but too many of these kill the individual. And this is what is happening. So then what happens if I go to the doctor and I say, hey, look, this is happening in one of my joints? The doctor says, take a radiology. Then I take you to do a research on this kind of illness, and then I produce a paper, but the illness was produced by a neuroweapon. And this is happening in even the best magazines in the world, like Nature. They are already fabricating research. This is knowledge that is not built on truth, and this is the betrayal of the Western civilization. Now, the Western thought, the Enlightenment, Socrates, the Socratic method, etc. You call it. Now, when you start to mess up with this base, then you have to tie it by violence, because you start to lose power. And when you start to tie it up with violence, you make the structures steeper. Yeah. But to depict this properly, we are talking about a really steep structure. Yeah. Because remember, everyone lives in the matrix, and people at the top is just a really few. That's why we are talking about technofeudalism. So let's say in countries like Russia, you will have the Kremlin, some people that is visible, the oligarchs, full stop. In China, you will have the Politburo. No, you will have the committee of 3,000 people, governors, and that's it. That's one of the problems of the CCP, is structurally, is orderly created. And some people say that, okay, because China is so big, it has to really be really, tight and on the hands and so on. And has been traditionally the situation in China for thousands of years. But China also has a mentality to flow like water. So then, not having changed per years, then and I don't know how this technology works there, but I know that at least they try to differentiate themselves from the West in many things. So science-wise, I am not sure. Well, let's say just These structures have nothing to do with communism or anything. But I'm not sure if they are building that platform or not underneath. I don't know. But per se, that's an already a steep structure, quite conservative. But then we are talking about every single steep structure becoming steeper, just because one technology, okay? And then we have neuroweapons that is just one technology in many, but it's too addictive to power. Okay? Look, with quantum phenomena, okay, just think about this. Neuroweapons comes from the mastering of the electron. This is one subatomic particle. There are about 230 and we continue discovering more. And we are hooked in something that is so addictive. Power is hooked in only one technology that is produced by the electron. There could be an agreement between all these structures in which, okay, you know, everything that you do, we know it. Because we have mastered, I don't know, the electromagnetic spectrum, then we know we can, in the long run, let's say, in theory, if you collect enough information from satellites, from land, from sea, from the bottom of the sea, whatever, about the magnetic field, in time in the future, you will be able to decode what is that doing exactly. So I do believe this is obvious. It's done by every single country. I don't know any military specialization. I just did a few semesters of technology. Okay, I didn't want to do this that thick, but okay. I think. Yeah. Then, okay, if we have this technology in the future, everyone will know what everyone is doing. So then there could be a dialogue in which, okay, we're going to create a communal radar just to make sure that when you attack, you have done it for a reason. Because it is happening in your jurisdiction. You are not attacking us necessarily, etc., whatever. Then these kind of radars could be a kind of planetary or communal radar. Yeah, and then everyone will know about it, and then everyone agrees that they want to attack each other. Yeah, but otherwise they can continue attacking each other, and every single country will damage its. Every single country will damage their social cohesion. And as the social cohesion is damaged, then it has to be artificially halted. And it comes with more than one problem. First is the automatization of the human. Yeah, then we start to talk about fascism imposing one reality. People living in fear, in paranoia, confused, not knowing what they should do. In democracies, they will not participate. Then democracy will not have feedback loops. And then we will simply start to perish into autocracy because this technology challenges No, I'm not challenging. This technology damages the checks and balances in democracy. After the checks and balances in democracy are not repaired, because as soon as there is a kind of new technology that disturbs these check and balances, is not remediated because of secrecy, perhaps, then democracy starts to perish. So I do believe it happened in the past. Let's say it should have happened with um, the phone. Let's say, just an idea, it's possible that in the United States, when the phone technology, then you have James Graham Bell, who creates the phone. Then you might have, let's say, certain states that the military would have at first certain states, and maybe, let's say, a party could take an advantage using the phone. The way to remediate that is giving to other parties the same technology, and then simply it won't be for long that then this technology will be used for someone to take advantage. But if you use this technology like Neuroweapons as landlines for the phone, saying, okay, you all have phones. You don't have a phone. You don't have a phone. I won't give you a phone. Screw you, don't have a phone. But all you're gonna have landlines phones, and the military, and etc. And we keep it secret. This is not for the civilians. And we go on and go on year after year, decade after decade. Then the only way in which we gonna actually make that open for the public is because it's more economic wise, efficient, productive wise, and security wise more efficient. But we are talking about neuroweapons. We are talking about getting into people's head, making scanners of the brain, taking the most profound secrets of the people, enslaving people like me who always try to do the right thing, extracting knowledge from them to create more profits. Yeah, extracting knowledge for corporations. Yeah, you know what's the worst thing? I could have participated in a kind of, let's do a trial in which I just think about the stuff. I solve things with my mind, and I get a fucking salary, and you don't have to attack me. You don't have to give me schizophrenia. You don't have to try to push me to being a lone wolf artificially, and then me discovering you. Yeah, because again, this is the stupidity. It's like look, this guy is so stupid. He doesn't recognize what's going on around him. Of course, I'm autistic. If you don't tell me literally, I won't recognize that. But if you tell me once, I will understand it better than you. And that's what happened as well with Elon Musk in his Asperger's. Now, of course, I didn't know what was going on. And why should I worry as well? If I was doing everything right, never broke any law, etc. But again, we see the other as we are, not as the other is. So let's say if you see someone who collects, I don't know, something beautiful made with the hands, attach flowers, attach special colors, make something beautiful, small, delicate. And if I'm not, if I see that and I say it like, oh, this is stupid, this is feminine, this is, um, this makes me feel weak. I suppose to see this as cute, but I know that it's cute, but I despise this because I'm imagining. It's definitely because the I don't know the skills of the other person. I don't know how the person identifies the plants to pick the best ones. I'm not someone who appreciates the smells. Then my taste is kind of numb, plain. Then I'm someone who is not delicate because my motricity is the one of not someone who is skilled, and not being skilled in all these senses makes me perceive the things in a black and white situation because I cannot fully understand the whole of reality. Then I will judge that as something that is not myself because if I'm not that, I cannot recognize it. Yeah, and that's why we need the most intelligent people, the most critical thinkers, trying to use this kind of technology in the best possible way. Sometimes you will prefer loyalists, but in the long run, well, you know, everyone was a loyalist in the fascist regime and in the Nazi regime. And you understand what is important to have these feedback loops, someone to speak to say to complain to. Yeah, it is important. Now, then, if I see someone who just makes stupid jokes, doesn't understand the context of what's going on, I take advantage of that person. I think that better. Of course, I'm gonna damage that person. I won't give a shit. Yeah. Even worse, some people might have been jealous about me. But why? Who? And I did anything to them? What that could have been? Now, democracy is no joke. Democracy exists, and it should be safeguard, because it could be extinguished, and then we won't have the opportunity to decide what is better as a collective. Now, okay, it's almost 1 hour, but okay, I'm just gonna finish this quick. As these structures become stiff, they go against war. Every single time a structure becomes stiff, super stiff, it goes to war. Cannot stop the move. It cannot allow the people to stop and think. Yeah. But if there is one structure that teaches the whole of the people, the other structures have no option but to teach the people in their own structures. That's another way in which this can work. If that becomes common knowledge, this structure has an advantage, and then the other structures have no option but to follow. This is what happened with the educational system, in which people learn to read. Prussia took an advantage, and then all other countries became jealous of Prussia because it became too influential. It won a war, and because other country was afraid of it, etc., etc., etc. But then a stiff structure like the Nazis finish Russia. Okay, I'll leave it there.